Hello, everyone. My name is Edgar Olivo. This is Energize Your Business, where every week I get to bring you some amazing leaders in the community who are doing great work. Just like every week, today we have Brian Mohr, who is the president of the Phoenix chapter for Conscious Capitalism. I cannot wait for you to hear about his professional journey and, of course, how you can engage in creating a better world through conscious capitalism. I had the privilege of meeting him a couple of weeks ago, and I left so inspired and energized that I promised that I would have him on our show, and here he is now being able to share all the great stuff that he's doing, and, of course, you know, how he's bringing awareness to such an important topic, especially in these times where we need to be aware that our efforts in the work environment do have an impact in the environment. They do have an impact with our customers, and how do our customers and the environment also play into building amazing organizations, which I think at the end of the day, that's what all of our professional colleagues and all of our friends are wanting to do. So stay tuned for this conversation. Make sure that you comment and share and like. I will be there with you in the comment section talking with you. If you'd like to send us a message about or questions that you have for Brian, by all means, send them your way. Send them this way through the comment section, and I will make sure that Brian gets them and that he can engage with you as well. So stay tuned for this great conversation. Okay, Brian, welcome to Energize Your Business. Thank you so much for being with us today.
No, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Brian, when we first met, a good friend of ours connected us, and in fact, our common friend, I feel, is also kind of leading the way in the nonprofit space through conscious capitalism and being aware of all the components that go along with it. But, you know, I really would love for you to define what conscious capitalism means to you, and then I would love to also talk about how you got to do this work, how you get to now share this across the country and across the world, basically around conscious capitalism. So tell us, what is conscious capitalism?
I guess the most simplistic way to define conscious capitalism is to show or illustrate how it differs from what I believe most people associate with today's current practice of capitalism. Conscious capitalism, it has an academic framework, and we can certainly get into that. But conscious capitalism differs from the current version of capitalism, which I'll refer to as crony capitalism, in two primary ways. Number one, it looks at the long-term horizon of the business as opposed to the short term. So conscious capitalists think in terms of years and decades and generations, as opposed to days and weeks and months and quarters.
Right.
And the second point of differentiation is conscious capitalists think about the value they need to create for their entire stakeholder ecosystem, which is inclusive of the shareholders, the owners and investors, but not exclusively looking to benefit the shareholders, owners and investors at the expense of all of the other stakeholders in the business, which I think is probably the more, it may seem super common sense, but it's certainly the more complex differentiation of conscious capitalism from the current practice of capitalism, is really making sure that business leaders engage their creativity, their innovation to make decisions that seek to rise the tides, if you will, for all of their stakeholder ecosystem, not simply make trade-offs at the expense of one to benefit the owners, shareholders, and investors exclusively.
And what is the trend that you see now with organizations? Because you mentioned there the big differentiation here is long-term vision, and of course understanding that we impact the entire ecosystem of what contributes a successful company. Why is conscious capitalism now becoming a hot topic, right? It's now becoming the thing, and thanks to you, and I really attribute a lot of this to you at a local level here as I'm becoming aware of it, and as friends are now telling me, hey, I've met this great guy, his name is Brian, so you're doing a really good job. What is the trend, and what should we expect in the future based on your own personal experience?
Well, thank you for the kind words, and I can tell you that it takes a village to get the word out, and I'm lucky that I have this opportunity to share why I'm so passionate about it. To answer your first question of why is now the time, or why does it seem like it's beginning to sort of gain this momentum, here in the Phoenix area, and particularly in the state of Arizona, we have the honor, the privilege of hosting the 2019 annual Conscious Capitalism Conference, which is one of two major events that the Conscious Capitalism organization hosts each year. And Phoenix won the bid to be the host city. So I think a lot of perhaps why there's more of a groundswell around the movement here in Arizona is likely due to the conference coming to town. But I think taking that aside and just looking at the larger narrative of what's happening around businesses, you've got multiple generations in the workforce, you've got the national media consistently highlighting the bad actors who are practicing capitalism in a way that I think is reinforcing some of the capitalism is evil narrative that unfortunately I think a lot of people are buying into. And if the only stories that you're seeing are stories of the bad actors, then it's no wonder that the public at large is losing its confidence, losing its trust in the capitalistic system. And then you layer on top of that, there is an income inequality issue that is undeniable. And so is capitalism working for everybody? And, I think most people would say not as well as it could. Yet, if we pull back just a little bit and think about where we were 200 years ago as a human race to where we are today, 200 years ago, almost 90% of the world's population lived on less than $2 a day. Today, that number has dropped significantly to under 9%. Now, 9% of the world's population still living on less than $2 a day is too many. But we've made huge progress, and the capitalistic model, free enterprise, has been a huge contributor to really helping people bring their creativity, their innovation, their entrepreneurial spirit to life and create businesses. And when you create a business and customers vote with their wallets because the business provides a value, then you get to hire people and create jobs, and it helps people help themselves. And I think we historically have been reliant on government and the public sector and perhaps the nonprofit sector to be sort of the stewards of fixing all of the social problems that exist in the world. And they have a huge part to play in that. And I believe business, because of its profit centric scorecard, if you don't drive value, you don't make money. And so as a scorecard, the more profit you generate, the better value you're creating. I think business leaders are finally realizing that, hey, we're in a really great position to add our weight, to add our innovation, our creativity to solving so many of these social issues that exist in the world. And it's a great time to be a capitalist.
I think that's a good statement there, because I believe that a lot of people believe too, that we are living in the most abundant times in human history, right? And capitalism is it is a human invention, and it was, I guess, it's intended to be able to work for everyone. And what you're saying is conscious capitalism is the effort, right? It's the effort to include everyone, to get everyone involved, to be able to prosper together. And do you believe that then companies, corporations have a civic responsibility now to be able to invest in all of these social issues? And the one social issue that to me is very personal and very that I'm very passionate about, and I think this is why Compass CBS exists, is to there's a huge need in the education system, right? The education system is failing this new generation of workforce, right? These new individuals that are now entering the workforce. And I just saw a report that 80% of companies surveyed by SHRM, the Society of Human Resources, said that 80% of companies are struggling to hire talent. Do you feel that conscious capitalism is also a way for companies to stand up on these social issues?
It certainly is. I don't know that it's a requirement for business leaders to stand up and become an activist around social issues. I think that's a very slippery slope. So, at the risk of playing it safe, I think business leaders are responsible to their stakeholders, and it's up to them to choose who are the people that they include in their stakeholder ecosystem. And whether or not a senior leadership team of a business is going to tackle a social issue or some sort of a societal problem, it's really up to them. It's how they want to use their assets, their talents, their resources. It's up to them. All that said, though, if you think about some of the most important societal challenges that we are all facing, one of them, I would argue, is how are we helping our fellow colleagues and teammates continue to grow and develop and create the most impact that they can create? And so oftentimes this notion of purpose and social issues is so externally focused that we forget that inside the four walls of all of our businesses exists its own community. And if business leaders today thought about the people inside their four walls, their employees, as extensions of their family, for lack of a better way to describe it, and thought about them as their brothers and sisters or children, or whatever analogy works for them, that leaders have a responsibility to help the people who are driving their businesses forward become the best version of what they're capable of. To me, that is one of the most important social opportunities we have, is to create great social, great citizens in our society. And
it can start from within, right?
Exactly.
From within, and it extends out.
Yep, exactly. And so,
that's,
you've got companies like Salesforce.com, and Mark Benioff, the founder CEO, clearly is just so passionate about homelessness in San Francisco, and they're leveraging Salesforce's assets, talents, resources to focus on that problem. That's their decision, and I'm thrilled that they're doing it. But that's their decision. I don't think it has to be a requirement. If a company just wants to focus internally at making sure they're taking great care of the lives that are in their care, between Monday and Friday, or whatever the work week looks like, I think that's a pretty noble pursuit and a social opportunity that exists.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Brian, how did conscious capitalism enter your life, or how did you enter conscious capitalism? How do you view that?
So super accidental. I was in a Whole Foods market buying some groceries, and on one of the end caps was a display, and at the end of the display was all of the conscious capitalism books. It's a bright yellow book. It's impossible to miss. And because it was co-authored by John Mackey, who's the co-founder and CEO of Whole Foods, and I was in Whole Foods, I grabbed it. I read through first few pages. And it felt like it spoke to me in the first few pages. So I picked it up, read it, and was just immediately captivated by the simplicity of what the book describes. And to me, the magic of conscious capitalism is that it gives shared language to people that realize business is the greatest socioeconomic creation or sense of cooperation that the human race has ever created. So that's how I got involved. And after reading the book, I realized that there was a community that was developing across the globe, that they were holding conferences. And so about 5-6 years ago, got involved, and have been incredibly fortunate to be involved at a relatively early stage, and just I'm banging the drum as loud as I can.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're taking the charge in this. It's an important subject, and I think you have this charm to articulate it very well, which is why I feel like you are seeing and experiencing this massive now appeal to the message, and I congratulate you for that. Don't go anywhere, okay? We have another segment for this conversation, and when we get back, I'm going to show you a couple of programs that we have here at Compass CBS. So stay tuned. Make sure you comment and like our video. We'll be right back with Brian, where he's going to share with us how can you engage now in conscious capitalism. What are some of the things that you can spot in the workplace? What are some of the things that you, as a leader of your organization, you can implement or start planting those seeds in your organization? So don't go anywhere. Hi, my name is Edgar Oliva. I'm the founder and senior business trainer of Compass CBS. Today I want to give you 5 reasons why you should take Microsoft courses with us. Over 80% of companies are now using Microsoft and require it as a skill. You'll be more productive and produce better results for your clients. You'll earn more money over the span of your career. You'll work faster and improve your quality of work, and it opens door to many more possibilities. We have highly trained and certified bilingual experts ready to help you achieve your professional goals. Call us at 602-759-0553 or register on our website. See you at Compass CBS.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Perez with the law firm of Alejandro Perez. We specialize in labor and employment law, business law, and estate planning. You can reach our firm at 602-354-2833, or you can email me personally at ap@alejandroperezlaw.com. Your success is our business priority.
Hi, my name is Edgar Olivo. I want to tell you about an amazing resource that will make you stress-free about your business finances while giving you more time to do what you do best. At Star Bookkeeping Services, we specialize in bookkeeping and payroll services to take off the weight of managing your business finances, monthly sales taxes and payroll taxes, 1099s and W-2s to have ready for your CPA to review and finalize your tax return, notary and business license registrations to help you ensure your documents are always in order. Make sure you reach out to them and schedule your appointment today. And by the way, tell them that Edgar from Compass CBS sent you.
Hi, my name is Michelle Chavez. I learned a lot. I mean, I came in with a list, covered everything, but so much more. Came in kind of knowing a little bit about social media, learned a lot more. I feel very comfortable where I could go in and actually do something. Very organized, very thorough. It's an excellent class, highly recommend it. Well, I have to say the presenter was just so enthusiastic, knowledgeable, happy to share, happy to answer questions, and we asked a lot of questions. A lot of good information that I could not have found, or it would have taken me a long time to go into YouTubes and watch a lot of videos or read books which are outdated. It was good to have up-to-date information, anybody and everybody, because even if you have a good background, you're going to learn more. It's just so thorough, and it just tells you enough for you to know to be able to go in and start it on your own. The resources that are shared in the class, and then there is, like I said, the follow-up afterwards so that you have the support. You can go and ask questions, and you can talk to the people that are alumni, so you're kind of an important person afterwards too.
Welcome back. Brian, thanks so much for staying tuned, hanging out with us and telling us about conscious capitalism. I think it's such an important subject, and I think many, many more people and many more professional leaders need to know about this. Tell us about an organization that may be listening to this. How would you start the conversation with an organization that comes to you and says, hey, Brian, I want to start doing things around the conscious capitalism philosophy?
So, dependent upon when they have the opportunity to hear about it, if it's in advance of the event that's coming up here in the Phoenix area in late April,
tell us about that. When is that?
Yeah, it's April 23rd, 24th, and 25th. It's going to be held at the Sheraton Grand at Wild Horse Pass Resort and Spa, which is down I-10 on the way to Tucson.
I'll make sure to put the information here in the video too.
Awesome. Yeah, beautiful property. We're gonna have some great speakers from around the globe, and particularly some great folks from Arizona, including Governor Ducey, Cody Friesen, who's the founder and CEO of Zero Mass Water, Michelle Sirocco, who's the social responsibility officer from Televerde. So we're gonna have some great local speakers, in addition to a wide array of national and global speakers. Awesome. In addition to that, one of the best ways to, I think, get involved is to visit also the Conscious Capitalism website, which is consciouscapitalism.org, and pick up the book, which is simply called Conscious Capitalism.
Yeah, get informed first.
Yeah, learn about it. And we also hold a variety of Arizona-specific meetings. It's usually on the third Wednesday or third Thursday. Sometimes we alternate of the month. And there is an Arizona website, which is consciouscapitalismaz.com, which they can learn about as well. But all of the sort of websites and some of the different resources available, I think once a business leader, whether they're leading the whole company as the CEO or president, or leading a team or a department, I think one of the big questions to begin going down this road is for that leader to ask him or herself, why do we exist as an organization, as a team, as a department? and what higher purpose are we looking to serve? And that's different than how do we make money? And I'll refer back to Simon Sinek, who I think did a wonderful job with the Golden Circle around the why, how, and the what. Everyone knows what organizations do, how they do it, but oftentimes that core, that middle of why you do what you do is overlooked. And so I think starting there and beginning to answer and unearth that question, or the answer to that question, is really, really important. And I would encourage business leaders to engage their entire team in that process. Don't do it as a solo activity. Do it as a team-based activity, because oftentimes you'll find that the reason why somebody is deeply engaged in the work, their opinions may differ a little bit. And I think it really begins to unearth some phenomenal conversations around, well, why are we really here, and what is it we're really up to?
The why question, right? That's such an important question to answer, and I have found that a lot of organizations struggle with that, and I love that you suggested that everyone should be involved in that conversation, because they may take it a little bit different, but there could be a way to synergize the vision. I was listening the other day to this precise question that you just said. Why do we exist? What's the purpose that we fill? And having a vision is so important to pull you towards your purpose, right? The vision pulls you through there. If you don't have vision, then the pain will push you through it, right? Whatever pain points, whatever struggles, whatever challenges are happening, it'll eventually push you towards it if there is really something important there to fill. What are some of the things that then teams and organizations can spot right away when they know that they've gotten clear about their purpose? What does that look like?
Well, I mean, I think it's different for every organization. And so to answer that, if I can take it just in a little bit of a slightly different direction for my answer is, I think what it helps the organization do is, when there is clarity of what that higher purpose looks like, as there are future roads that the business can travel down to make more money, create more products, more services, serve more customers, they can always go back to, well, why do we exist, and use it as this ultimate decision-making filter to bounce every future decision off of. So if the organization's purpose, I'll use Goodman's Interior Structures as an example, and Adam Goodman.
Great example.
Absolutely. And so what they do is they sell office furniture. The reason they exist and their higher purpose is they exist to change the community. Now, that may sound incredibly ambiguous, like, okay, change the community. Well, what does that actually mean? Well, Adam and his team have realized that they have assets, talent, and resources that, if they can leverage those assets, talent, and resources to positively impact the community, that is a decision that they will usually say yes to. And that can range from opening a foster clothing bank in Tucson to when they remove old office furniture from a business that bought new office furniture from them, they refurbish and then give the old office furniture oftentimes to a nonprofit organization somewhere throughout the state, where they could profit from it. They end up donating it or giving it to the nonprofit community as their way of changing the community. So just a couple of different examples that helps. And neither of those have anything to, giving clothes to foster children and foster families and donating furniture to nonprofits has nothing to do necessarily with selling more cubicles, more desks, more chairs, but it has everything to do with their higher purpose of changing the community. So it's a great example.
That's very inspirational. I mean, it's not always about making money. It is about making impact as well. And I can just imagine the energy that you must sense when you walk into a Goodman's. I've walked into Goodman's as well. It's this positive energy, and that attracts more customers. And as a result, there's a saying in Spanish, dar para recibir, which is give to get. And I guess that's also part of the conscious capitalism message, right? Is that something that you would agree with, or would you say that that's part of it?
I mean, I think that's an overriding philosophy that people who are involved in conscious capitalism realize that this is going to sound odd, but the most selfish thing is to actually serve other people by serving other people, it makes me feel great. When I can do something for someone else, I feel really, really good.
Yeah.
And frankly, we could probably argue the semantics, but it is very selfish. I want to feel good. And the way I know I feel good is by helping other people. And I think that spirit is completely woven throughout the DNA of Goodman's. And to your point, Edgar, that because Adam looks at the business in terms of decades, not weeks or months, he realizes that the more he invests in the communities that he operates in the long term, it is going to help the Goodman's business continue to thrive no matter what. And I think it's a smart, I'm biased, but I think it's an incredibly smart investment on Adam's part, and an amazing way to lead. And I think one of the biggest unintended positive consequences of that, as Adam would tell you himself, is the people, when they have job opportunities, he doesn't struggle to hire people, really good people, because they want to be a part of what he's doing. And they still just sell office furniture. Like, that's the core of their revenue driver, right? That's the business. And I don't think people grow up in high school or college go, I want to be in the furniture selling business. Maybe some do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But people flock to Goodman's because of how they do what they do, and this stronger purpose behind just the essence of the business.
Yeah, it's a feel-good purchase, right? It's a feel-good purchase.
Yep.
You feel good that what you're purchasing, who's running the organization is doing something amazing with it outside of just profiting. I think that's amazing. Brian, give us how can we get a hold of you, or how can we? You mentioned the conference that's coming up in April. You mentioned meetup group that you have. All this information, can we find it on your website?
Yeah, you can find it on consciouscapitalismaz.com. That is for sure the best place to go for the Arizona-specific information around conscious capitalism. For the viewers and listeners that want to get a sense around the global movement itself, then I would encourage everyone to visit consciouscapitalism.org, which is the global conscious capitalism website. And it's got a wealth of information on it that will keep you busy for a while.
Awesome. Brian, thank you so much for your time. I know you got to go. You're a busy, busy man. Thank you so much again for your time.
Well, I appreciate it, Edgar. Thank you so much. And by the way, your comment about my charm, thank you for that. And I'd love to put you in touch with my wife if possible, and maybe you can build me up some brownie points.
Okay, we'll send her the video.
Perfect.
All right, have a great day. Thank you so much,
it.
Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
And another great conversation with another amazing leader in our community who is spreading a good message about conscious capitalism and why that's so important. Just to recap a little bit of what Brian said, he said that conscious capitalism is the difference between long-term vision and short-term vision, where organizations have to think for the long run, what is their impact and what is their purpose in the community and how they are sustaining and helping everyone in the ecosystem. And that's the other side of conscious capitalism is an organization who's also taking the time to holistically look at what benefits are there for everyone involved that make the organization successful. I highly recommend that you check out his speaking tours. He's got great events that come up and great meetups. Brian is an amazing guy, especially when you have coffee with him and you get to hear him one-on-one. It's a great time. Thank you so much for joining us at here at our great podcast, Energize Your Business. Make sure you comment and share and like. We would love for your support and letting more of our colleagues and more of our professional friends know about these great leaders that are doing some amazing work. I'll see you next week.